Hey, everybody, welcome back to Echo Base Network. Today we're looking at a new Rambo movie, a prequel to the original Rambo film. The movie that you didn't know that you need. Wait a minute, was that you, Nick? I thought you were AI over there. I didn't know you've been gone so long. So we're back here doing a video, and it's all about what you see right here. Rambo, an origin movie called John Rambo, is going to be hitting the Cannes Film Festival. Not a lot of information out there about the plot of the movie. We know that it is during the Vietnam War, so the setting is while he was a soldier. It says Action Vets Millennium Media is doing the film. It is a prequel to the 1982 classic First Blood. The film's plot is under wraps, but it will be the origin story of a young John Rambo during the Vietnam War with casting in early stages. This will be something people are interested in. We understand Sylvester Stallone is aware of the project, but is not currently involved. We hear the door is open from producers should a fitting role arise. Nick, what is your initial reaction here? Do we need a John Rambo origin story?
So, for years, I've been thinking about, especially after the last movie came out, which I enjoyed.
Last Blood was terrific.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. But I always thought that they should do a prequel, recast the character, do a young Rambo, and kind of give that backstory. It's like having the OT Star Wars trilogy, and going back and then George come back and doing the prequels. This is going to be the origin story of how he became who he is in the very first Rambo movie. I love the idea, and I'm actually excited for this. I hope they get it right, and it turns out to be a really, really good movie. But I'm excited for it. The one thing in this article that you did just hit that does give me some concern is that Stallone is not involved in this.
At this time,
yeah. I hope that he gets involved in this project, even if it's just for consulting. But I would also like...
Well, see, they didn't mention anything like that. They only said a possible role, like in the film, as a character in the film.
Yeah.
They're not talking about the writing. They're not talking about any of the production. It seems like that's not an invitation he's going to be getting.
No, probably not. But as far as a role goes, I would be open to seeing him where he's at now after the last movie. He's on his porch in the rocking chair. And, we hear him kind of telling the story to somebody or whatever. And then, so we kind of get him at the beginning of the movie. He's talking about it. And then we actually see...
Right.
The whole thing, and maybe he narrates a little bit and it maybe cuts back and stuff. And then at the end, we see him, still sitting there in the rocking chair on his front porch or something sort of similar to the last one. I'd be open for that, to where the movie's basically him telling the story. I think that would be a cool concept.
I am going to have a hot take here, I'm pretty sure. I would watch this movie. A Rambo origin story. I would watch the movie, but I got to tell you, I have no interest in it. Like, it doesn't interest me at all. I feel like this character's arc is full. I don't need to see him in the Vietnam War. Instead of creating an origin story for John Rambo, why don't you just create a new character? Do something fresh and new. Why? This just shows me the whole creative bankruptcy from the entertainment industry. Like, how long ago did First Blood come out? 1982?
Yeah.
It's been 44 years almost, and now you're going to go back and tell an origin story? You're going to make a Vietnam War movie? I mean, just do something new instead of this. We don't need this. And the thing, too, is like, I am hesitant because I really like Rambo. First Blood is probably in my top 20 movies of all time. Maybe better than top 20. Maybe top 10. Maybe. I don't know. On a given day, it probably would be, but not maybe not every day. But I don't need to go back there and see the origin of this character. Like that's just, and you've given us such a full, complete arc. I thought that the Rambo movie that wasn't very good, by the way, that came out in 2008, I thought that was going to be the last time we ever saw him. I'm
I did
glad they
too.
did. I'm glad they did Last Blood because it was excellent. It
Yeah,
was a
yeah,
really good film, way better than the 2008 movie, even though it had some really good scenes as well.
yeah. And he jacked them cartel people
Oh,
up
he
when
did.
they
He
showed up at his
to
house.
pieces. He blew them to
Yeah.
pieces. But man, and because I like the character so much, and he's part of our childhood, our generation, like an iconic character, I'm just afraid that they can't get it right.
Yeah,
And I would
yeah,
rather
that's a
you not
possibility.
do it. Just don't do it rather than risking messing it up. Like,
Yeah.
leave this man alone. Leave John Rambo alone and give us something new and fresh. That's my hot take.
Yeah. Yeah, and something else, just listen to some of the stuff you were saying that could be jarring with this is it's not gonna be Stallone playing a young
Exactly.
Rambo unless they do, deep
They
fake
will
or
not spend that kind of money on this
yeah,
movie.
exactly. But they are probably not gonna spend that kind of money to do that. So,
Yeah.
very similar to Solo, with no Harrison Ford. It just it didn't feel
It's
the
hard. You
same.
can't replace an icon.
Yeah, exactly. And that's going to be, I think, this movie's biggest obstacle. Even if the movie is great and the story is great,
Yeah.
that is going to be their biggest obstacle.
See, I feel like once we get that final arc, you bring back the icon and he's a grizzled old warrior like Rambo Last Blood.
Yeah,
That should be the end.
yeah,
Like we always talk about Conan. I don't want a Conan origin story. We already got one.
yeah,
I would love to see Conan now as the old king having to fight at the end. You know what I mean?
yeah,
The odds are against him. He's not what he used to be, but for that one day, you get that hero back on that one day where he remembers he's a champion
yeah,
and he goes and destroys and slaughters some folks.
yeah.
That would be great. But don't tell me a Conan story when he was 12. You know what I
Right.
mean? I know it's not the same thing. We're comparing apples and oranges there, but I like the comeback story as the old character. Maybe it's because we're getting older. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Very similar to the Dark Knight series with the old grizzled
I
Batman,
have I have
Bruce
a
Wayne.
yeah. There's something about that story where the mentor character, the once great character, now in a kind of a mentorship role, makes the comeback.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why Obi-Wan Kenobi in the original trilogy was my favorite character,
Yeah.
because he was way past his prime, but he went down in a blaze of glory. You know what I mean?
And we got that with Rocky in the Creed
We
series.
did, and yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. And that
and
was
in
I like
Rocky
that
when he actually came back, and did that one last fight, as an old man.
exactly. All good points there.
Yeah.
So, chat, you're gonna have to let us know. Are you feeling a John Rambo prequel? Something that Stallone is not going to be the character. We're going back to the Vietnam War. Does that interest you? Do you want to see that tale of what in Vietnam made him go the way that he went? If that interests you, let us know in the comments. Nick, you got any final thoughts here?
The one of the other cool things that we could see in the story is Delmar, the guy in the very first Rambo movie. He went to go see his
Yeah,
friend who died of cancer. Like, we're
right.
gonna get to see that whole team
Yeah,
of guys. So I think there's some interesting aspects that they could bring to the
all
table
the
with this
people Colonel
story.
Trotter named.
Yeah, yeah, Troutman, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
what. Yeah,
Yep.
thanks.
Yes, and we'll see him, as well, training Rambo, recruiting him, all that stuff. So I do think there's some interesting things that we could see in this, but I can understand your point of view on this as well. And I'm sure there's probably a lot of people in the comment section that will probably feel the same way.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for watching our video. We are your Echo Base Network. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye, guys.